Greetings, fellow book lovers, and welcome back to Colin's Corner. Today on the channel, we are going to be doing my first ever wrap-up video, but first we need to go over the answer to the joke from the last video's Comedy with Colin. The joke was, what is the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament? The answer? Live stream. Okay, without anything further, guys, let's get into this wrap-up. So I've been tossing around how I kind of wanted to structure this, and what I came up with is that I'm first going to just go over the physical books that I read, and then after that I will do the audio books that I read. So let's start with all the physical books that I've read this year. The first of which is A Game of Thrones by none other than George R.R. Martin. What an opening book to a series. I mean, this was an easy 5-star read for me. I was hooked from from the prologue. I was hooked. Um, I could not put this book down. It's a long one. I could not put it down though. Every single chapter, I just wanted to know who the next POV was going to be and what they were getting into. I was hooked. I wanted to know what happened after we left off one of these characters. And as you will see shortly, I could not wait very long to get to the second book in the series once I finished the first one. Now, the second book that I read physically is going to be The Return of the King by, of course, again, none other than J.R.R. Tolkien. So a couple of RRs to begin my physical reading year. And for those of you that don't know, this was my first time ever through the Lord of the Rings series, and the only logical explanation that I have as to why I put this off for so long is that I knew in the back of my mind that I could only experience this series one time, and let me tell you, it definitely lived up to the hype. I stand by the fact that this still is the most magical series, the most magical journey I've ever been on in literature. And I'm digging and looking up podcasts on how I can dig deeper and learn more about Middle Earth. So I was absolutely astounded by the world that Tolkien had created. And my wife and I watched the movies, and I can't believe I waited this long to read The Lord of the Rings. But with that being said, this was another easy 5-star read for me. It was also my favorite in the series, if you want to call it a series. The Return of the King was definitely my favorite. Next up, guys, we have a couple of books. I'll do these ones together. So I read the first two Discworld books, The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic. So I know obviously that Discworld is a 41-book series, and they are self-contained, so you don't necessarily have to do them in any specific order. And I know that these first couple of novels, there are some people that recommend maybe not starting with them because they don't consider them to be as strong as some later entries. But let me tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed these first two books, and if that is any indication on where I am going to fall with Discworld as a whole, I am very optimistic that I'm going to love this series. And actually, the humor reminded me so much of Monty Python that after I finished The Light Fantastic, I went and watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail just because it's been a long time since I've seen that. But I'm really enjoying Pratchett's writing, and I'm really enjoying some of the themes that he's tackling, and the humor is just top notch. It's right up my alley. Next up, guys, I do not have a physical copy of this book, but I read Full Moon, which is the second Dresden File books. I'll put up a graphic here. This is a series that I'm reading with my mom, and she recently just finished Full Moon as well. I thought it was a step up in terms of there's a little bit more character depth than Stormfront, which is the first book in the Dresden Files. And I personally enjoyed the plot a little bit better in the second book. And so I am really excited to continue to move forward. I believe Grave Peril is next, and my mom and I will try to kind of coincide when we start that. But I know I'm kind of working my way towards when the series starts to get a little bit more exciting and deep. which is, really something that I'm looking forward to because so far I'm enjoying Harry as a character, and I can't wait to get to know more about him in this world that it's Chicago, but still Harry is Chicago. I can't wait to get to know more about that. Next up is another one that I do not have a physical copy of. I have it on my Kindle, and that would be Jade City by Fonda Lee. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth with this one because I do have a dedicated review for this one on the channel already. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts more in depth, then I will link that right here. I will also put it in the description. So if you don't want to stop watching the video now, you can go check that out afterwards. But needless to say, I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. And I certainly will be continuing in the series. I'm not sure when I will be continuing in the series, but I believe Jade War is the second book. I have the entire series on Kindle, so I will be getting to that one pretty soon. But yeah, Jade City I had a blast with. It was very unique. Um, it was a kind of a new feel for fantasy, and I really appreciated what Fonda Lee did with this first book in the series. Next up, guys, we have A Clash of Kings. As I said, I couldn't wait too long to get to the second A Song of Ice and Fire book, so here we are. I finished this one, and my gosh, this was absolute madness. I mean, the the realm of Westeros is in absolute disarray in this book. There's people claiming, that they're kings and fighting over, who's reigning over the realm. And meanwhile, there's this looming threat that seems to me to be bigger than really who should be in charge of everything. It seems to me like a time when Westeros needs to be coming together, but you know, people choose to care about certain things in this book that seem to not matter as much to me when maybe their existence is at stake. But with that being said, there's so much politicking going on in this. The world gets expanded. We get to know some more history about Westeros. We get to know a little bit more about some of my favorite characters. And I have downloaded via my library card the audiobook for A Storm of Swords, which I will be starting very, very soon. Last but not least, for physical books, we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Now, again, like with Jade City, I do have a dedicated review for this already on the channel. Again, I will link that right here, and I'll put it in the description as well if you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on Dark Matter. But this book I loved. I really thought that what Crouch did was fun. It was special. I was literally hooked from the first chapter all the way to the last chapter. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This is the first, I guess, technically sci-fi book that I have read, and the first that I've reviewed on the channel. And so I'm excited to get into some more sci-fi, especially some more Crouch. And I'm looking for more sci-fi recommendations, some series to start. So if you guys have any sci-fi recommendations, some of your favorites, feel free to put those down in the comments because it's a genre that I definitely want to start to dig deeper into. I've been reading a lot of fantasy the last 2 years, and I want to expand into some more sci-fi. As I go on with this channel because I did really enjoy this, and I think that I will enjoy sci-fi as a genre. All right, now let's move on to the audiobooks. I'm just going to hold up the books because I do have them in physical form too. So I did 3 audiobooks over the course of the last 3 months, and they are all the Farseer trilogy in total. So the first 3 books in the realm of the Elderling series is considered the Farseer trilogy, and the first book of that is Assassin's Apprentice, the next being Royal Assassin, and last but not least, we have Assassin's Quest. So I read Farseer last summer, and it was such a pleasant surprise. I absolutely loved Hobbs' writing. I loved the main character that we follow in this series, and so I wanted to revisit them. And so I downloaded the audiobooks and I listened to those, and they were fantastic. It was really nice to be back in the Six Duchies. And so actually this is going to lead me pretty nicely into the next section of the video, where I'm just going to kind of talk about some upcoming videos, some plans for the channel, that you guys can be anticipating. The first of which is that I will be doing a read along for the next series in the realm of the Elderlings called the Live Ship Traders. I'll be doing this read along with Ben over at Books with Bengus Khan, and in April we will be starting with Ship of Magic. So what our plan is to read one book per month, and then we will be doing a live discussion at the end of the month talking about that book. So if you guys want to hop on board, if you want to read with us and come join us in the live chat at the end of the month, we would absolutely love to have you. I've heard so many great things about the Live Ship Trader trilogy, and I really cannot wait to pick this one up and kind of discuss our feelings after we finish these books together. Next thing I'm going to talk about is I was actually tagged for the first time. I was tagged in two videos. One was by Theo over at Rekindled Reader. He tagged me in the this or that tag, so you guys can expect my response to his tag and a video for that coming out very soon. And another one of my friends on YouTube over at Punk Rock Cereal Bowl, his name is Robert. He tagged me in the song challenge. So be on the lookout for these two videos. They will be coming out fairly soon as well. And if you haven't done so, I'm going to link Theo's channel and Robert's channel in the description. Go check them out. They're both very unique. They bring something unique to the table in terms of BookTube, and I love both of their channels so much. The last thing that I have planned so far, guys, is that I will be doing a Farseer Trilogy total experience kind of video. I have so many things that I want to talk about when it comes to the Farseer Trilogy, and I'm still trying to kick around how I want to do this, if I want it to be spoiler, if I want it to be no spoiler. But all I know is that I definitely want to get a video out kind of just talking about my overall experience, my overall feelings after reading the Farseer trilogy. And I will be looking to get that video out before Ben and I have our first discussion on the Live Ship Traders, which will be sometime within April, before the end of April. So definitely be on the lookout for that, especially if you have been hearing a lot about Robin Hobb and are wondering if it might be a series that you're interested in starting. That's going to do it for today's wrap up, guys. Now on to everybody's favorite part of the video, comedy with Colin. Today's joke: why couldn't the sailor learn the alphabet? If you think you know the answer, drop it down in the comments below. Also, guys, if you've read any of these, if you think that you have some recommendations I might like based on my reading taste after seeing some of my videos, please hop down in the comments. Again, thanks so much for watching today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. And if you want to support the channel even further, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've had so much fun doing this so far. The support has been unbelievable. And I hope you guys are all enjoying what you're currently reading. And remember, you're always welcome in Colin's Corner.